Hello, and welcome to the EduTalk series hosted by Biotone EduPartner Program, and massage industry experts. With the continuing challenges facing massage schools, students, and practicing LMTs during COVID, the EduTalk series not only builds massage community, but supports virtual learning by connecting you with industry experts who will share their knowledge and expertise on topics not only to discuss in class, but for career success. Tonight's speakers were Sharice Onenmo, who can't join us tonight due to an accident, and Laura Allen Clayton. Laura has worked with EduTalks before on ethics and along with Sherry on her panel. Laura is the author of Nina McIntosh's The Educated Heart. She is also a featured columnist with Massage and Bodywork magazine, a column entitled Heart of Bodywork. And currently, Laura is the president of sales and marketing with Cryoderm. Earlier today, Laura and I were on the phone, and she mentioned a book which I wanted to bring up. I didn't know about it. It was published in 2018, and it's called The Cultural Crossroads of Healthcare and Healing. And when we look at our world today, this might be a book you want to take a further look at. Tonight, let's listen and learn from Laura as she reminds us we all want to run ethical practices, and not every issue is black and white. Laura will discuss the key ethical concerns for your practice, including confidentiality, social media etiquette, and gift certificates. Thank you for joining us. Please use the chat box at the lower nav bar to submit questions, which will be answered at the end. And for best viewing in the upper right-hand corner, you can switch to speaker view. And with that, Laura, I turn it over to you.
Well, first of all, I will apologize for sitting in my kitchen pantry, but I had to come somewhere quiet so my barking dogs wouldn't disturb the webinar. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm sorry that Cherie had a little accident and cannot be here with us tonight. I always enjoy working with her, but we'll just carry on the best we can. So, as Donnell mentioned, we have several topics tonight: confidentiality, social media, and gift certificates. So, due to the fact that we're only going to be together for a short time, I'm just going to dive right in. And as Donnell said, if you have questions, just type those in and we'll get to them at the end of the presentation. So confidentiality means more than just not talking about your clients or not divulging their information to anyone. And I actually want to tie this in with the social media that we'll also be talking about, because I love social media. I'm on a lot of social media and I enjoy the interactions there and everything, but it's an ethical disaster. I see so many confidentiality violations on Facebook, for example. You know, every year, whenever there's any kind of event going on, like we're coming up on the Super Bowl or the World Cup or the Soccer Cup or whatever, it never fails that I see people bragging about the fact that they have massaged the quarterback of one of the Super Bowl teams, or they have massaged this famous person or that famous person. Y'all, we wouldn't get on Facebook and say that we massaged Mr. Brown down the street in our neighborhood. We don't need to get on there and say that we have massaged someone just because they're famous and we're trying to impress people. Now, if a celebrity gets a massage from you and then goes on their Twitter or their Facebook and says, "Oh, I had a massage from Laura Allen today. It was the best thing I've ever had," that's one thing. But for us to violate confidentiality by talking about it ourselves when they have not either given us a signed release. You know, if they stood there and took a selfie with you and said, feel free to put it on Facebook, that's one thing. But I think people make a lot of assumptions and just take it on themselves to do those things. And that's still a violation of confidentiality. So be careful about that. Also, I see sometimes where people get on in social media, especially in massage groups, which are not all closed. As a matter of fact, the largest massage group on Facebook, anybody who's on Facebook can see what goes on there, even if they're not a member. So I see people talking about clients, and sometimes they don't necessarily call the client by name, but they say enough details about it that if that person were to see that, they would go, oh, good Lord, she's talking about me. So we need to be very mindful of what confidentiality entails. It's not just HIPAA. It's not just not talking with one client about another client. It encompasses a lot of things. Another example is emailing. Now, I highly recommend that if you're emailing your clients, for example, a monthly newsletter or sending out an announcement about a special that you're running or something of that nature, or days that you'll be closed during the holidays. For example, you're much better off to use one of the email services like MailChimp or Constant Contact or something like that, because you will never have the worry of everyone seeing everyone else's email address and knowing who's on your client list. I have known people that made mistakes like that. That's in fact one of the videos that appears on the ancillaries. I have a lot of videos that go along with the Educated Heart that are open-ended videos. They show ethical dilemmas, and then it's up to the learner to try and decide how to handle that. What we want to do is avoid sounding like somebody's parent, sounding judgmental, sounding like we're taking everything personally, and that kind of thing. We want to come up with a professional response. So it's not professional for everyone to see who your other clients are. I actually had another business person who is not in the massage business, but it is someone that I've done frequent business with. She sent out an email, and everybody in the county that I live in seemed to be on it. And I sent her a message, and I was trying not to be judgmental. I said, sent her an email back, and I said, you really need to use BCC on your email so that everyone is not seeing everyone else's email address. And she said, well, I want people to know who my clients are. They'll be impressed. And I said, well, then you need to remove me from your client list, because I don't want my email going out there to everybody in the county. So that's just a danger. And if you use a professional email service, you will not have to worry about that happening accidentally. Maybe you don't mean for it to happen, but it could happen if you're just using your Gmail or whatever else you use. So I mentioned about social media a moment ago. I have seen some horrible things said about clients on social media, body shaming people, talking about someone with a bad attitude, or somebody who had body odor or stinky feet or something. I mean, we've all experienced it, but we don't need to shame people about that on social media. So please, please, please avoid doing that. I think it's a really good idea that you have a separate business page or professional page on social media. I have been on social media for probably 13 or 14 years, I personally I'm not practicing massage right now because of COVID, but during the past 5 or 6 years, I have maintained a very limited number of clients because of my work with cryoderm, and prior to that, my work with soothing touch. That's been my primary work in addition to teaching and writing. So I have a professional page. I have a personal page. Now, there are a lot of followers of mine and friends on my personal page, but everyone who sends me a friend request there gets a response that this is my personal page. You're welcome to be here at the risk of seeing the pictures of my dog, listening to my music, and listening to my political rants. If you prefer to only see massage related posts, please go to this page, and then I put a link to my professional page. I have never made the habit of having clients on my personal social media pages. I don't feel that clients need to know what I'm doing all the time. I don't want to insult clients by something that I say, and I think there's a line there that you don't need to cross with people. Clients don't need to see your selfies of hanging out in a bar and looking like you've already had 4 drinks or something of that nature. They don't need to see you lounging by the pool in your itty bitty bikini or something of that nature. So just be mindful of who you're allowing on your personal social media pages, and avoid having clients on your personal page if that's possible. We've lived in a dumpster fire, I guess you would say, through 2020 between COVID and all the political unrest and all the things that have gone on. Excuse me. If you have clients who have different views than you do, and we all do, it's not going to go over well if you are constantly insulting members of one political party and making blanket statements about people on social media. Now, I have my personal political preferences, and I'm very vocal about that on my personal page. I never say a word about that on my professional page. I take care of all the social media for cryoderm. I would never say anything political on their pages. I formerly was employed with Soothing Touch for several years. I never said anything on their pages, personal or political, or any of my own personal opinions. So just beware of those kind of things, and also be aware that 90% of employers nowadays check social media before they hire someone. So if they see your social media and see that you're dancing on the bar at your high school reunion, you might not get the job. Excuse me. So that's just something to be aware of. But again, insulting people, for example, saying, well, all the people of this political party are idiots. Why would that person want to come to you as a client if they know that you think they're all idiots? They wouldn't. So they're just like there are hot topics that don't need to be discussed in the massage room. There are hot topics that don't need to be discussed on your social media if your clients are allowed to be on your page. So just beware of that. I want to talk a little bit at length about gift certificates, just because the holidays are coming up, and this is actually, to me, a combination of ethical behavior and a good business practice as well. I ran a clinic for a little bit over 13 years here in my town. I employed a dozen people. I had an acupuncturist on my staff, a naturopath. I had a bunch of massage therapists, an esthetician, an herbalist. I had actually had a chiropractor in my office for 8 years, and it was a busy place. And we sold gift certificates online. Our office was on Main Street, and a lot of people also just walked in the door and bought them for holidays or special occasions. But this is a special time that we're living in here with the pandemic going on. So I have seen a lot of discussion in massage groups and just in general on social media of people talking about whether or not they're going to sell gift certificates for the holidays. I would like to say that our governor here in North Carolina, where I live, shut down massage. I think it was, excuse me, I think it was around the end of March or maybe the 1st of April. I had actually stopped several weeks before that and gave notice to, I had 8 regular clients, and that was all that I wanted. That was all that I could take care of. But I sent them a letter and informed them that I would not be back before sometime next year. And I'll just actually have to judge that whenever next year gets here. But I was working from a day spa, and the owner had asked me, you know, can we sell some gift certificates for massage for Valentine's? I told her that would be fine. And she sold a good many. And when it became apparent that COVID was not going to quickly go away, I told her that I wanted to refund the money for all of the gift certificates that had been sold for Valentine's Day. And I think there were a few left over from Christmas. So I personally contacted all those people. We handled doing their refunds. Excuse me. I actually did notify them that there were other therapists in town that intended to do massage as soon as the governor opened it back up, which did happen. I think it stayed shut down for about 2 months. But I personally don't feel comfortable about it. I do know some people who are working, so I recommended those people. But I want to bring something up about the gift certificates. Now, you have to remember that when you sell a gift certificate, that is a liability on your business. So if you sell 2 gift certificates or 2,000, I was telling Donnell earlier today while we were chatting that during my years in the clinic here, and due to the number of therapists that I had and all that, there were days during the Christmas season that we sold $2,000 to $3,000 worth of gift certificates in a single day. And that was a liability for me because I had received the money. We still owed the work, and I still would owe whatever staff member was taking care of those clients. So I realize that this is a hard time financially for a lot of people. Unemployment payments have, the pandemic related unemployment payments anyway, have gone away. Don't have another stimulus check forthcoming as far as I know anytime soon. And so a lot of people are struggling financially. There are some therapists who don't feel comfortable, seeing clients, or maybe only seeing a very few people that they trust. There are also people who are working in places where their employers are just wide open, and business is carrying on as usual. And there are some independent massage therapists who are carrying on as usual. And I've seen a lot of them discussing selling their holiday gift certificates. So I just want to remind you that the month of January is probably going to be a whole lot of people redeeming gift certificates. Usually for 2 or 3 months after a holiday, there's a huge influx of clients who are redeeming the gift certificates that they received for Christmas or Valentine's or Mother's Day or whatever. So I encourage you not to go crazy spending that money if you're doing Christmas gift certificate sales, because folks, we don't know when this is going to be over with. And I don't think you want to spend the money when you owe someone the work and not be able to do the work for them. So I feel pretty certain that our governor may shut it down again as far as massage and other personal services, just because we're having a bad spike in North Carolina, and I know there's some bad spikes going on in other places. So I just encourage you, if you are not working right now and you cannot honor the gift certificates that you already have out there, please be very careful about selling anymore, and don't leave people hanging. Get in touch with them, do the ethical thing, get in touch with them and let them know what has happened and that your work is curtailed right now or your schedule is curtailed. Donnell actually mentioned earlier today while she and I were talking that excuse me, that maybe you could put something on your gift certificates of the nature of these certificates will be honored after such and such a date. So I want to inform you of something, because I see people who are guilty of this violation all the time. Probably 7 or 8 years ago, Massage and Bodywork asked me to write an article about the laws concerning gift certificates. And they had their attorneys go through this with a fine-tooth comb before it was published to make sure that the information in it was accurate. The federal law on gift certificates is that they must be good for 5 years. Now, I'm not talking about these little credit card looking things, gift cards like that, are for Subway or McDonald's or something like that. They can do as they please, I guess. But as far as gift certificates for personal services, excuse me, the federal law is 5 years. And if you live in a state that has a more restrictive law, and some states do, you are obligated to abide by the more restrictive law. So there are states with 7 years, I think, expiration. There's one state, I want to say it's California, and I can't remember, that doesn't allow them to expire at all. So the law is on the side of the purchaser here. The law, the spirit of the law is that this person paid you for a service, you owe them the service. So just beware of that, because I've personally received gift certificates for pedicures or a massage somewhere from another therapist or something, and it had a short expiration date on it, because of course you would like for your clients to come in within 3 weeks or 3 months and redeem that, so that you're not just looking far off into the future and thinking, well, I still owe them this massage. But you need to abide by the law. You can put a statement on your gift certificates like, please call within 90 days to make your appointment, or whatever you want to do. However, you're obligated to honor that whether they call you within 90 days or not. When I closed my business, which was in 2016, my previous husband, who is now deceased, was sick, and I just needed to focus on that. So I closed my clinic in 2016, and I had a load of gift certificates on my books that had not been redeemed. So I made arrangements with 6 of my former employees to continue to honor those gift certificates, and for a period of almost 2 years. And I sent that out to all of the clients, sent them out to people who had sent notices to people who had purchased gift certificates. And I advertised this through the Chamber of Commerce. I left our website up for 2 years. I left our Facebook page up for 2 years. I asked the local people on our Facebook page, please share this with your friends. So that went out to thousands and thousands of people to let them know to please redeem their gift certificates within 2 years. I continued paying my staff members that long to keep on honoring the gift certificates. So you always want to do the right thing and the ethical thing, and we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we'll all be able to be doing massage a month from now or the week after Christmas. So just keep that in mind and do what you can do to make things as right with people as possible. Now, I have a question here that says, after COVID slows down, do you recommend proactively calling or emailing clients to urge them to use their gift certificates and schedule an appointment? Of course you can. Excuse me. But I don't know what the slowdown pardon me, I should have brought a bottle of water in here. I don't know what the slowdown is going to look like or when that's going to happen. My own decision to stop doing massage was based on the fact that the majority of my clients were elderly people who did have some health conditions. My mother is immune compromised, and my husband is a survivor of 2 different types of cancer. He's also immune compromised, and it was just not worth it to me to take the risk of endangering them and making them sick. So yes, you can proactively call and email your clients, but you should also be prepared for the fact that it may be a good long while before some of them feel comfortable coming in to get a massage. I do strongly recommend that you let people know what sort of precautions you're taking. Let them know, for example, that you're wearing a mask, that you expect them to wear a mask, that you are taking fewer clients because you're taking more time in between clients for sanitation purposes and that kind of thing. I think most people will be understanding if you just let them know what's going on. And if you're sitting around now with your business closed, or maybe working a reduced schedule on account of this, and you have people that have gift certificates out that have not redeemed those yet, stay in touch with them, send them a message or call them and let them know that you are extending the time that their gift certificates are available for their use, and that even if you had unknowingly, because of my telling you that the federal law requires 5 years, if you had unknowingly put a short date on that, for example, that it must be redeemed within 90 days or 6 months or whatever you put on there, call those folks and let them know that you will still honor their gift certificate, because it's a special time right now, and the client may not feel safe in coming out and getting a massage. So that's my word on that. That was kind of business advice and kind of ethical advice at the same time. But this is what this presentation was supposed to be about, was ethical practice management. I think most massage therapists set out to run an ethical practice. I think one mistake that a lot of self-employed therapists make, and people who work alone, often don't give thought to the fact that they should have some policies and procedures. And I believe that's a big mistake, because if you take the time to see, to think about all the ethical dilemmas that you may be faced with over time, and you think about how you're going to handle those in a professional manner, and you just write yourself a policy and inform your clients of your policies, it saves a lot of heartbreak and anger, perhaps hurt feelings or whatever, in the long run. And if you don't have a policy and something comes up that you're not really prepared to deal with, you're going to be standing there and in your mind going, oh my God, what am I going to do? So the policies and the procedures are a good thing. And Nina McIntosh, who was the author of the first 3 editions of The Educated Heart, I have authored the last 2, the 4th and the 5th edition. Nina had a saying that letting your clients know your expectations and letting them know your boundaries up front is actually an educated way of being kind to the client. And I believe that's true. So if you let people know about your late policy, your cancellation policy, your gift certificate policy. Now, for example, if somebody did a no show, no call on me for a gift certificate, boom, they just lost that certificate. I always made a point whenever people called, to get their number if it was someone that wasn't already a client, whenever they called for an appointment, get their number and give them a reminder call or text, ask them which one they prefer. And if they did a no show or no call, they better be in a coma somewhere. And it actually was printed on the gift certificates that if we fail to receive 24-hour notice, that this of cancellation, that the gift certificate will not be honored. And of course, I would have made an exception for that for someone that had a death in the family or was in the hospital or some genuine emergency. But that's just one of those things that you need to have a policy about. So think about your policies, write some policies down, and inform your clients of what they are. I used to have our cancellation policy printed on the intake forms, and there was a sign hanging in the lobby, a sign on the front desk, a sign in the bathroom, a sign here and a sign there, telling people about our policies. So that's a good way to do business, and an ethical way to do business, and keep you from having some bad reaction when something comes up.
Well, Laura, thank you. I'm jumping in now, and definitely appreciate all the good information you shared with everyone. If anyone has any chats, you have another minute to get those in for Laura to answer with you. This chat has been recorded. It will be posted by next Monday to biotone.com/edu-talks. So please, Laura shared a lot of great information tonight, so please feel free to come and review it again. Now in December, we have 2 EduTalks planned. We have December 8th, CBD massage, getting started, and that is hosted by Jane Irving. And on December 15th, we have 2021, that was almost hard to say, 2021 Trends for Wellness and Massage, and that is hosted by Kelly Lenny. So anything further in closing, Laura? I see your website is in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. So
there it is.
Yes. So anything further, let me know. Let us know.
I so appreciate y'all being here. Thank you very much. And thank you, Cynthia. I really appreciate that. So thank you. And I believe I'll be coming back sometime in the spring to do another webinar, hopefully with Cherie. And she has our thoughts tonight as she's recovering. So
she does.
Everyone have a safe holiday. Be safe at Thanksgiving, and maybe we'll all be here at Christmas. So just have a safe and wonderful time. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, everyone. And I agree with Laura. Please have a safe and healthy Thanksgiving. Thank you for joining us tonight. Take care.